Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza Horizon 4 today building another rally car to tackle our beach stage. Now the request this time around was to get the cheapest car in the game, having used quite a lot of expensive cars so far. And that is what I have done here with the VX220 Turbo. Yes, this is actually among the cheapest cars in the game. There is no sort of one specific cheapest car, because if we go value, we can go down to the bottom. 20,000 credits is the smallest amount of money that you can pay for a car here. And well, the VX220 is among them. Yes, technically you get it free from this is a DLC car. However, for the sake of this, I'm going by the list price, which would be 20 grand. And of all the vehicles we have here, I fancied using the Vauxhall, because I haven't used it yet. You have to go up to 25 before we start getting the Sentra, and so on. I mean, first of all, that's a pretty damn impressive value for money car right there. Performance-wise, you will not go faster for 20 grand at all. I mean, that's pretty quick for, considering this category we are in. The Golf's fairly fast, but the Vauxhall, that's a mighty car for 20,000 credits, and I fancy building it. So, here we are. Of course, the rules for this series, the cars must be made all-wheel drive, which will make this a little bit heavier. I mean, there's kind of a smidge of a fear about this car, how it's going to deal with the sand, because, well, very low-slung sports car, not exactly the best. What engines do we get here? Ooh. So we can get a 6.2 litre V8 Turbo Rally. Oh. 3 litre V8 racing engine, well that'll be fun, however that's not going to go in the car, we won't have the PI for that. That much I am fairly sure of, because there are other important things that we need to do. I also must keep the car with its standard engine, if said standard engine can get to the top of its, top of the PI, which is S1 class, or within 10 of the top of S1 class. Pretty big tyres on this, that is a good sign. That is a good sign for the Vauxhall. I was worried it was going to have fairly small tyres, but nope, that is not the case. We will get some... Actually looks a little dopey with the track width going on with this. Quite a lot of camber on the front. It's not a body kit or something, like a wide body kit or something for it. It's probably the most sticky out I have seen the wheels in all of this. We will stick aero on the vehicle, and then we will go for other important bits and pieces. We are going to want some rally suspension. Naturally, we're going to want all the racing bits and pieces. We want the car to handle well at the end of the day. Yes, we are on sand, but in the world of Forza, we are going to want the car to handle well. Lightweight cars have still gone pretty bloody fast around this stage. What sort of power? I mean, S1 class is it's a sort of a pretty wide class. You can get a lot of upgrades in a car. Hell, quite a few cars can't even get to the top of S1 class. This will do it with its standard engine. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Now, I might not just go full camshaft. I might try and spread the upgrades out a little bit more. We're not going to get an upgraded turbo on, though. Okay, so it is going to be not immensely powerful. Ooh, I didn't do... Probably should do this as well with the car. Oh, of course, I keep forgetting. Driveline swap will change all of these to uprated parts, so we do get slightly better parts, better gearbox, etc. When you change the driveline from rear-wheel drive to all-wheel drive. I guess we'll stick a flywheel in and call it a day. 400 horsepower and under 2,000 pounds. Big power to weight ratio in the car. My concerns, of course, while it is on rally suspension, it's still low. It's still likely to plough its way through a lot of the sand, and that could cause it grief. And while it is light, it does simply not have the power or the torque of the likes of the Hellcat. But we'll have to wait and see how fast it can go. So, we are to the start line with our sports car. I'm going to have 3 runs through our rally stage with the target time, a 1:58.0. And it is an Italian affair at the top of the leaderboard with the Ferrari and Pagani Zonda up there. I'm hoping maybe we can throw the Vauxhall in amongst those. But, again... Don't really know. I've had a rough idea. We've run a few cars through here. We've seen what's gone quick and what's not quite gone so fast. Still not got a kind of complete picture, if you like, for expectations. So this could be very fast. It could struggle. Get around that heaven. It's not going to be sort of Unimog levels of slow. It's not going to be uncontrollable. It's whether it's got enough power to propel its way through the... Whether it's got the sheer power and torque to propel its way through the sand. The lightweight helps and all, but we will find out fairly quickly. Oh, I balls up that corner. I got bounced a teensy bit wide, and that is absolutely not what you want to be doing there. Now we feed the car through this next section. I'm hoping with a combination of very lightweight and some big tyres, we should be pretty good at the slower sections. You see, we've had various classic cars, and we will have, I'm sure, more classic cars that are incredibly light with a huge amount of power, but a lot of them don't have the tyre width and just don't have the grip in general to deal with some of these slower sections. My hope is that with the Vauxhall, we will. My hope is with the Vauxhall, we will be able to get around the tighter sections with a good amount of speed. We did crack 100 down that, I say back straight, that small acceleration zone, but it wasn't only just. We've had much faster out of cars. However, we're holding good speed around the beach corner. We're going to be making up our time in the turns with this, because as expected, it's not quite the fastest accelerating car that we have had. I'm a little wobbly through here. It's a little bit out wide through the first part. We'll get away with it on the second part. And then we come out of the hairpin, last big acceleration zone for the car up towards the jump. How are we going to land is always an interesting question. Pretty well, actually. Minimal amount of bouncing around. Now it is just flat out to the line. What are we going to see from the car? Oh, it's fast. The Vauxhall's very fast. The Vauxhall's very fast. 158.6. It already goes. When it goes sub 2 minutes straight from the off, we're within, well, half a second of the 250 LM. The Vauxhall I think is, well, the Vauxhall has already ruined the Italian party a little bit. I think it might continue to. So we are looking for just 0.6 of a second over the course of this next run for the cheapest car in the game to beat the most expensive car in the game. Nothing's more expensive than the 10 million credits that we paid. Well, I say we paid, I won the 250 from a wheel spin. Nothing cheaper than this when you're dealing with the shop. Anyway, I mean, this is kind of, yeah, working how you want it to work, really, around here. It's got the grip. As I said, the acceleration was a concern. I think we've just got so much grip through these corners. Yeah, the real top end will be lacking a touch. However, we are able to get out of the corners, and maybe just maintaining the momentum through the corners is enough for this car to certainly put a frighteners on plenty of vehicles that have run. Considering last time around we were very wide with it there, we were very wide through as we head into the car park. Some nice sort of more compacted sand for the Vauxhall to enjoy briefly. Now try and be neat and tidy as we head down this next section. Car got a little bit of a wiggle on through there, but that's okay. It's the sort of sandy snake towards the end where we've got to be careful. That was the other place where we were a little bit wide. Certainly think there's 0.6 of a second in this car. I'll be disappointed if I'm unable to achieve it. That is a little wide there, though. Not really what you want to do. Now, you'll get away with it. You will just lose a little bit of time there because you're bouncing around. You've not got the wheels on the ground. You're not putting the power down to the, I say to the road, but to the sand. It's not accelerating forward because it's bouncing around in the air. Not quite ideal. However, everywhere else had been pretty good. Actually, a little smidge wonky there. I'm not sure this is going better this time around either, annoyingly. There have been places where it's been better. It's places where it's been a tad worse. Now, throw it down here. Little bit better. Change of direction. There we go. Use the banking to kind of help twist the car. Miss the fence if we can. And now we accelerate again up towards the jump. No sign of any stuck AI cars, which is always good. We will launch towards the castle. Actually lands really well. Lands really well for a full-on sports car across there. What is the speed? It's not faster. No, I thought there was... First bit was quicker. Onto the beach was a little scruffy. The final bit was okay as well, but there was just that middle section we didn't quite get right. Still, it's I mean, that'd still be enough for it to go second on that run. Ooh, one more attempt. Can we do it? We have one run and 0.6 of a second left to find, so no real pressure on the Vauxhall here. It's not run wide on the exit to that back straight. If we can avoid doing that, keep everything else neat and tidy, keep everything else good, we will hopefully be looking at a good run time. It's always challenging with this. Don't get much time with the car. I'd like to think I know this course pretty well by now, but yeah, 3 runs is not much, and got to try and get as much as I can really out of the vehicles, but it's the same for everything. Would say it punishes difficult to drive cars a little bit more, but this is certainly not a difficult to drive car. We've not actually had too many difficult to drive cars. Things like the Demon that you might expect to be very awkward around here actually turned out to be incredibly good. The MGB was not the most helpful car, and things like the Unimog and so on, the big Bentley 8 litre and whatnot, yeah, have been slightly more difficult to drive, but I'm sure there will be worse to come in future. The Vauxhall, so far, we're looking pretty good. Headed up that hill. I'm trying to take a slightly neater, slightly tighter line through there. Oh, I'm going to brush the fence on the exit. That's okay. Just wait a little bit longer to get on the power. There we go. Now you can kind of get away with running across this sort of a dip. You'll get away with accelerating across that, and the car won't bounce its way up into the air. You will still keep all the wheels on the ground at least, which we have done nicely this time around. Now, how much speed dare we take through here? There's kind of a load of different lines you can try through this corner. We've gone for the try and get as much speed on the way up the hill as possible. Approach, I'm not sure it's quite worked. I mean, it's okay. No big glaring errors. It doesn't quite like that change direction there, interestingly, as much as some of the other cars have done. Out the hairpin we go. Now we do have a AI vehicle potentially in the way. I think it will probably be clear of us as we head up towards the castle. We'll get a little bit of slipstream. Don't think that's going to matter here. What are we going to do? Run time. Oh, it's going to be a new record. It's going to be a new record. It's actually quite an impressive record as well. We're into the 157s. Oh, I mean, we're gone. It's another 0.6 of a second faster down the road. We are, yeah, making this faster and faster around the course. That's an impressive line. That's a hell of a car. That is a hell of a car. As I said, there were fears that these sort of small, lighter weight sports cars would have trouble dealing with the thick sand. You know, there's a lot of it around here. Of course, rally suspension will raise the ride height up, but overall it's still going to be a lower car. And I did have fears that these were going to have problems tackling that. I did have fears that, you know, at 400 horsepower, while sure it's light, and I mean, this is less than 400 torque as well, it might struggle propelling itself along through the sand. However, its grip through the corners, that's what does it. That's what does it for the Vauxhall as it goes top of the table. The VX220 will lead the way. The cheapest car in the game displaces the most expensive car in the game, and as I said, we're talking some 0.6 of a second difference, and we are a fair way clear the likes of the Pagani Zonda, the S2000, the Dodge Demon, the Volvo 242, etc. That's not at all the result I expected. However, well done to the Vauxhall. I would say that that's going to be a time that I think will be tough to beat. However, genuinely don't know with this series so far. Genuinely not sure with this series whatsoever. What I do know, though, is that is going to be it for this video. If you want to leave suggestions for what car I am to run next in this series, please do in the comments below. The most liked comments will have that vehicle run if I can get it, and if I have the money and it fits within the class restrictions, etc. However, that'll be it for today. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.